next election.
This was a very grave and momentous step that we were forced to take today to move a contempt citation against the Attorney General of the United States. We did not relish doing this, but we have no choice. Attorney General Barr, having proved himself to be the personal attorney to President Trump rather than the Attorney General of the United States, by misleading the public as to the contents of the Mueller report twice, by not being truthful with Congress, has shown himself to be the personal attorney of the United States rather than the Attorney General. And now he has taken it a much greater step farther in turning the entire Department of Justice into an instrument of Trump personally, rather than an instrument of justice and a representative of the United States. By seeking to evade, to bar all subpoenas, and the President said it, that they will resist all subpoenas, not just with reference to the Mueller report or to the Russian attack on our democracy, but with reference to anything, to reference to the Department of Justice's turnaround on their position in court on the Affordable Care Act, to references to investigations of security clearances, to references to the decisions to tear babies away from their mothers at the borders, to everything. They are uniformly rejecting subpoenas from Congress. This means that they have decided to oppose the role of Congress as a coordinate branch of government representing the American people. They are stonewalling the American people from all information, and this cannot be. We cannot have a government where all the information is in the executive branch, where the American people and the Congress are stonewalled as the information that they need to make decisions and to know what's going on. So while this is stonewalling information with respect to the Russian attack on our democracy in 2016, with respect to the President's campaign cooperation with that attack, to the President's obstructions of justice in seeking to stop the investigation of that attack, it goes far broader than that. It's an attack on the ability of the American people to know what the executive branch is doing and to have responsible government. It is an attack on the essence of our democracy, and we must oppose this with every fiber of our being. And that's why we today referred a contempt citation to the House floor. The House will have to vote that contempt citation to begin the court battle. There can be no higher stakes than this attempt to arrogate all power to the executive branch away from Congress, and more important, away from the American people. We've talked for a long time about approaching a constitutional crisis. We are now in it. We are now in a constitutional crisis. Benjamin Franklin in 1787 was asked, when he exited the Constitutional Convention, "What type of government have you given us, sir?" And he said, by a woman who asked him the question, he said, "A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it." Now is the time of testing whether we can keep a republic, or whether this republic is destined to change into a different, more tyrannical form of government, as other republics have over the centuries. We must resist this. This is far broader than Republican or Democratic or even the rights of Congress. This is whether we can put limits on the power of the president, any president, and the executive branch, and hold the president, any president, accountable. That's what is at stake here. We cannot flinch, and we will not flinch.
Mr. Mayor, if you're in a constitutional crisis, why are you resistant to moving forward with impeachment?
Well, I'm not going to talk about impeachment, but that may be the short answer is that may not be the best answer in this constitutional crisis. There are a lot of considerations for that, and that may not be the best answer for this constitutional crisis.
What's the best answer?
Well, I mean, if you're not thinking about impeachment right now, do you think this goes to the floor next week and then you move to court?
This will go to the floor rapidly. I don't know whether it's next week or not, but it'll be on the floor soon.
And how does that compare with, I know Democrats are looking for tax returns, and that could go to potentially McGahn being held in contempt. How are you guys going to balance that, prioritize what comes first?
Well, we'll see what happens. We are still planning to have Mr. McGahn appear before us, to have Mr. Mueller appear before us. The president has made that more difficult by ordering Mueller not to appear and by ordering McGahn not to submit documents that we've subpoenaed. And by the way, these documents, the White House makes a nonsensical claim, and the Department of Justice this morning, for all these various documents. They say they're executive privilege. Most of them are not executive privilege. And remember something about executive privilege. It's not a blanket bar. Nixon, in the Nixon case, the tapes, you all remember or have read about the tapes. These were the most sensitive to executive privilege. They were private conversations between the president and his advisors, and the Supreme Court ruled 8-0 that the interests of the public in justice and in accountability outweighed the interests of the president in privacy, and ordered those tapes revealed. And of course, when the tapes were revealed, it led to Nixon's resignation. So, number one. Number two, privilege is designed to get candor by the president's advisors to advise him. Once that has gone public, once the president has said it's okay to share those conversations or that evidence or whatever with the Mueller investigation, with your private attorney, with whoever, once it's been published, there is no more privilege because it's done already. Everything we have requested, the unredacted part, all the material in the redacted parts of the Mueller report, all the material that we've requested in the various subpoenas, none of it is privileged, because all of it, they waived the privilege by enabling it to go public to Mueller or to whoever. So it's a nonsense claim. We will win these court fights because the law is one-sided. And when the president or Attorney General Barr or anybody else cites executive privilege in these cases, they are